Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to our third topic of the day, which is kind of interesting because I have been following this outside of being online. I've done a video here and there on the topic, but what we're going to be talking about is Ray Fisher, Warner Media, I should say, Walter Amada, and the whole Cyborg system that is basically shut down and has showed a lot of people how things are currently happening. And it's kind of sad to see because Ray Fisher has been fired. So this is coming from Empire, but it's on every other page you can find. Ray Fisher confirms he's no longer Cyborg in the DCEU. Justice League actor Ray Fisher has been caught in the maelstrom the last year or so after an investigation into the behaviour of the film's reshoot director Joss Whedon and DC executives such as Geoff Johns and Walter Hamada. The thorny affair is being kept largely under wraps by Warner Media, but Fisher is now confirming that he's no longer reprising his role as Cyborg in the upcoming Flash movie. I strongly disagree with their decision, but it's one that is unsurprising, Fisher said on a 2-page Twitter post that you can read in full below. So with that one there, we're going to quick look into it. So this is what we had. This was 2 days ago. So I have received official confirmation that Warner Bros. Pictures has decided to remove me from the cast of The Flash. I strongly disagree with their decision, but it is one that is unsurprising. Despite the misconception, Cyborg's involvement in The Flash was much larger than a cameo, and while I do mourn the lost opportunity to bring Victor Stone back to the screen, bringing awareness to the actions of Walter Amada will prove to be much more important contribution to our world. So with that one there, we are going to be talking a little bit about Walter Amada because it wasn't him. Ray Fisher now is seen to have just gone and just pinpointed Walter. It wasn't him who started all of this. On December 30th, 2020, I made it clear that I cannot, with a clear conscience, participate in any production associated with the current president of DC Films, Walter Amada. The reason behind that declaration was twofold. Walter purposefully attempted to undermine the Justice League investigation in order to protect his friend and former co-president, Johns. Walter's attempt to protect himself by contributing to the public dissemination of lies and misinformation about myself and the Justice League investigation in Warner Bros. Pictures' September 4th statement to the Wrap. Bear in mind, Walter Amada interfering with the Justice League investigation is a completely separate issue than the investigation itself, and while Walter's behaviour was not a point of focus for the investigation of the Justice League reshoots, his dangerous and enabling actions during the investigation process must be called to account. On July the 7th, 2020, during a 57-minute long phone call to Walter, I made multiple attempts to have him escalate my claims of misconduct against Joss Whedon, Geoff Johns, and John Berg through the proper channels. Rather than escalate the situation when initially asked, Walter dispatched Joss Whedon and John Berg in an attempt to cover for Geoff Johns. I keep saying Jones. I do apologise. When I alerted Walter that Geoff was in fact a major contributor to the issues experienced, including blatant racism, Walter tried, but to no avail, to get me to reveal the names of witnesses and other specifics that could be used to forewarn Geoff of the claims being brought against him. Walter even went so far as to sharply dismiss certain claims of mine as untrue because of his work experience and personal relationship with Geoff. Walter indicated that he was briefly on Joss Whedon's problematic behaviour well in advance of my speaking on July the 1st, 2020. That briefing likely came from Geoff Johns. Why would he keep saying that? I do apologise. With whom Walter served as co-president of DC Films. Regardless of how he was made aware, Walter knew that there was legitimacy to my claims against Josh, yet he persisted in trying to minimise and dismiss the situation, claiming that it's a producer's job to protect the director, and that he was looking to move beyond anything to do with Zack Snyder's Justice League. It wasn't until I argued Walter down that he agreed to escalate my claims as asked, citing it as above his pay grade. Knowing that he had overstepped and that I had no intention of backing down, Walter made matters worse by making a tastefully self-aware joke about not wanting me to put him on Twitter about this. Well, here we are. Despite Walter's best efforts, the Justice League investigation was able to expose the racist, coercive, discriminatory and retaliatory behaviour of Geoff Johns. Why do I keep saying that? I just don't like the guy. During his tenure with Warner Media's affiliates. So that's the first time he's actually mentioned Warner Media, which is responsible for all of this. It's not Warner Brothers Pictures, it's Warner Media. It has also led to the more immediate parting of ways between Warner Media and Joss Whedon. While it may be legally and financially safer to quietly phase Geoff out or to let Joss Whedon exit of his own accord, I share neither of those responsibilities. My responsibilities are, and have been, to try to protect those that were brave enough to lend their voices to the Justice League investigation, to use what little power I possess to ensure that the workplace behaviour exhibited during the Justice League reshoots and this investigation never happens again. No one in any profession should have to argue with their employer for their claims of abuse, racism and discrimination to be taken to the proper chain of command, and no one in any position of leadership should attempt to be taken up and should dissuade those wishing to report such claims from doing so. Walter's actions have transformed this narrative from an investigation of on-set misconduct in 2017 to the examination of the present-day cover-up of Hollywood, which is what they like to do. His contribution to Warner Brothers Pictures' September 4th statement to the rap was false, cowardly, and reckless. I maintain that Walter Amada is unfit for a position of leadership, and I am willing at any point to submit to a polygraph test to support my claims against him. I don't know how many instances of workplace abuse Walter has attempted to cover in the past, but hopefully the Justice League investigation will be the last. And if the end of my time as Cyborg is the cost for helping to bring awareness and accountability to his actions, I'll pay it gladly. Onward, gratefully, Ray. And with all of that, it's like, right, okay, I totally understand what has gone on with all of this. Because as I said, I've looked at this outside of Twitter, outside of YouTube. I've had a look at what has been going on because obviously it's a very big story. And obviously with Ray, he keeps saying about it's Walter's fault. It's Walter's fault. Well, how come you had Jason Momoa and you also had Gal Gadot? Gal Gadot had issues, she took it straight to him and they worked it out. Again, people will probably say, oh, well, that's because she's a woman or whatever. But Jason Momoa, he has backed Ray Fisher. So has Ben Affleck, so has Gal, and everyone else who worked and saw what was going on. They all come out and said yes. But obviously, Warner Media, they actually went out and they done their investigation. It was a third-party investigation from an outside firm. Came in and investigated it. And with that, there wasn't really anything they could find. Obviously, Joss Whedon was let go. We've parted ways or whatever. That's a better way to say that literally they fired him, like with the Johnny Depp situation from Fantastic Beasts. However, with Walter Amada saying, it's above my pay grade, well, he should have gone above his pay grade straight away. When someone comes to him and says, I got an issue with this, you look into it. No doubt about it. And it's just sad to see, because with Ray, I did like Cyborg. And, carrying on by here, Warner Media, the parent company of Warner Brothers and DC Films, they're the ones who should be on the hook for this, not Warner Brothers Pictures. They said a statement. Last summer, Mr. Fisher was offered the opportunity to reprise his role as Cyborg in The Flash. Given his statement that he will not participate in any film associated with Mr. Hamada, our production is now moving on. Warner Brothers remains in business with Geoff Johns, who continues to produce Stargirl, Batwoman, Doom Patrol, all these TV shows for the studio, among other projects. All the grisly details seem unlikely to emerge for a while, but this has been rumbling on and on. The Flash, meanwhile, should be able to shoot this year's, aiming to be out in 2022. And when you think of what's happened with all of this, we have a little bit more of a statement now from Warner Media, which was done yesterday. To the surprise of no one, Warner Media released their statement, which says the below from via The Hollywood Reporter, them. I believe in Walter Hamada and that he did not impede or interfere in the investigation. I have full confidence in the investigation's process and findings. Walter is a well-respected leader, known by his colleagues, peers, and me as a man of great character and integrity. As I said in Walter's recent deal extension announcement, I'm excited about where he's taking DC films and look forward to working with him and the rest of the team to build on the DC multiverse. So with that one there, it does kind of make you think, yeah, this is not really going to happen, because everything that has gone on now with Ray Fisher, he's done for from the from the DC universe. Nothing is going to come about of this now, and people are going to look at him and be like, yeah, this is not really going to work out. We need something to go forward. That is why they actually extended Walter Hamada's contract. And with that, that was kind of a kick in the teeth for Ray Fisher. Because obviously, saying that they're going to release and we're going to release you, but we're going to extend you. That goes to show that that's the only issue Ray Fisher had now, because the investigation was done. That was all done by a third party. They found nothing of it. And then all of a sudden, he didn't like that, Ray Fisher, which is understandable, because when you have people like Jason Momoa and you have Gal Gadot, your two big stars who are in the franchise with you, come out and be like, well, yeah, there was this on set. But when they had issues, they went straight there while it happened, and it was sorted on set there and then. And with Walter coming out and saying that, no, this has happened, the investigation has been done, they found nothing, that should have been the end of the story, which it should have. But now, obviously, Ray keeps coming out with this, and to be honest with you, I really do hope this is the end. The investigation happened, nothing was found. Sadly, Ray Fisher said to, if Walter Hamada is still going to be there, then I'm not going to do it. That was the stupidest thing he could have said. Because that gave Warner Media the chance to basically say, right, we got a guy by here now who is the president of this studio. He can help, he can make tons of money, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. We can now extend him and say, because that's happened, Ray can now go. He shot himself in the foot with that statement.